What's up guys, Phantom here back with episode 4 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode here. As you can see, we are going to go to the Chinese Grand Prix, but first we have a power development focused tech tree thing and a funded team event on for a few days as we move to our R&D here. We have unfortunately failed for one of our chassis upgrades, so that will have to be repurchased later as we do not have enough R&D points at the moment. But we do have a invitational event which will help with Team Acclaim, as we are going to go to the Netherlands in the F1 2010 Red Bull, as hopefully that will help with the acclaim, which we will get 1,000 acclaim from, which will really help the team out in terms of getting sponsorships and stuff like that as we start here at the Netherlands, which we were able to complete very easily here as we come out of turn 4 as we lose the back end and nearly spin it as the AI tries to regather control. But we will go to China here on the 16th and go to qualifying here at the Chinese Grand Prix. As we start out here in Q1 here, as we have about 20 seconds left, as we enter the final corner, we get a little bit loose there as we use the left of the runoff there, as we will start our first and only flying lap of the session here as we go a little bit, tiny bit wide there at turn 1 as we come through the left and then the long right-hander coming onto the backstretch here, fighting with the car, trying to get as much speed as we can. As we lose the back end, we continuously lose the back end there as we finish in P19, which could have majorly cost us a chance to get into Q2 there. Maybe it would have been close there. I don't know if we lost 7 tenths, but it was close, as we will go to the race.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, and Lance Stroll, Gasly, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, and Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Lando Norris. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And the owner driver, Russell, Latifi, Raghunathan, and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out.
As we sit here on the grid in P18 after Kvyat's grid penalty here, as we sit behind Magnussen as the 5 lights are out, as we get a really good jump there on Norris and Magnussen, as we kind of like shifted a little bit late there as we got bogged down, as we have to make sure we be really careful here as we actually lose the back end a little bit on the curb there, as we kind of get squeezed there on the apex of the corner, as we were kind of going 3 wide here, as I really didn't know we were 3 wide here still. As I cut through the middle of the track, I get half spun there as I get hit by Norris on the way back as we continue to wheel bang there, as right now I'm stuck 4 wide, as this has been a pretty trashy start, very reckless, as we've had contact with Magnussen there as we went 4 wide into turn 4. As you can see here, I just didn't realize we were 3 wide there, as I thought it was just Grosjean there to my left. As you can see, we wheel bang here a little bit as Norris and I dived out the inside of Magnussen and Russell, who managed to squeak through all this. You can just see as we kind of got squeezed off there as we actually squeezed off Grosjean there, as you can see here, as Norris will try to come through here, and as I was trying to get off Grosjean, I kind of swung out and back into the middle of the track. As we come onto the back stretch here, we will overtake Russell, who managed to slip through all that chaos there, and we will move him back down to P17 here. But as we come to the hairpin, make sure not to run into Magnussen. But for the first couple of laps here, you can definitely tell it was definitely follow the leader. We couldn't really get close to Magnussen to make a legit dive bomb maneuver. As we come into the pits, Magnussen has stayed out as we come into the pits here, as it looks like definitely some people will get held up here, as you can see, as we've held out 2 cars there, it looks like, in the mid pack, as it looks like one of them was the Racing Point. As we stop here, as we got held there a little bit for some reason, even though I definitely wanted to let go, as Raikkonen is up the road there a little bit. As we come onto the next lap here, as we look at the cars that are leaving the pit lane, one of them is Kvyat here, but Magnussen is up next, as we're going to get a bit of a run here, as we're going to go to the inside, as he kind of just shuts the door, but a little bit too late. We're already up his inside, as he is really trying to fight back on the inside. Now we're going to be the outside here for turn 4, as we're going to try to run him out wide there, as we're going to go really deep down into the hairpin, as he's gotten the switchback on us, but we have to make sure we have the inside here for the long left-hander, as we've managed to squeeze him out as he had to lift. As we come to the second and final lap, as Magnussen has a mechanical problem, but it's really been the main story as it was the first half of the race, where you just can't get really close to us unless I make a mistake like I did out of the last corner there. But he, even in his my slipstream, he really couldn't get to me. Of course, he did have a mechanical problem, but Valtteri Bottas will set the fastest lap and win the race. As we come down to the hairpin here, as we lock up, which almost conceded 15th to Kvyat there, but out of the long right-hander, they just couldn't get the run on me, as I will come home and finish a pretty average 15 for the team.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Finns have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed. and a good job in traffic as well.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improve their position in the championship. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.